CNN presents Anonymous. They live in the shadows.
This is the closest thing to a global revolution that we have ever gotten.
But their message and tactics have ignited a movement around the world.
We are anonymous.
A rare look inside the shadowy group's secret ops. Revealing investigations. Fascinating characters. Stories with impact. This is CNN Presents, with your host tonight, Brooke Baldwin and Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a rare look inside Anonymous.
They're this shadowy and motley group of hackers and activists who answer to no one, drawn together by love of internet mischief.
Well, now they're evolving into this movement of social change, a real driving force behind the Wall Street occupiers. No surprise, they're hated by corporate security, but also hunted by the FBI.
And one of the questions we're asking is, who are these people, and why are they taking to the streets? To get some answers, Amber Lyons stepped into the shadows. Back up.
It's a dark and disturbing vision. A world where riot police attack with impunity.
What happened? He got shot.
Get back. Where democracy is corrupted by greed and dissent is crushed. That's how Anonymous sees America. And they say that's why they're fighting back.
We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget.
It's a movement that defies description. Leaderless.
Tell me what democracy looks like!
Faceless. Anarchic.
This is our space!
A loose collective born on the internet, Anonymous has no official members and no hierarchy. But within the group, some individual Anons have greater standing, earned by their skills as hackers, video makers,
to see it with my own eyes and record it myself,
and increasingly street-level activists. Troy, not his real name, is one of them.
This is what happens when the people have had enough. This is what happens when greed goes unchecked.
Troy says he was drawn to Occupy Wall Street after watching his mother struggle with medical debts. He himself is working 2 jobs to make ends meet, despite having a college degree.
Kind of just lose track of days, lose track of time, but it's worth it. It's all worth it.
We met him at the Occupy Wall Street camp at Zuccotti Park.
There's no specific person that talks for us. It's more like a hive, an idea is brought up, and whoever agrees with it, if the overwhelming majority of people that agree with it, then we go with it.
So we're following Troy, and he's been out here policing, kind of making sure that all of these protesters are getting along with the community and not causing any problems.
We're handling internal affairs as far as damage control within the community, making sure that everybody's respecting the local small businesses around here. How's it going?
But he's not just watching over the protests. He's also watching the police. Part of the evolution of Anonymous from hackers to activists. Anonymous was born a decade ago in one of the weirdest and darkest corners of the internet, an anything-goes image board called 4chan. 4chan users post anonymously, and the name stuck.
We do not forgive.
The group adopted a distinct identity and its own symbolism, a mask taken from the movie V for Vendetta, a retelling of the story of the English rebel Guy Fawkes and his plot to blow up the House of Lords in 1605. Instead of gunpowder, Anonymous uses the internet. Anonymous attacks its targets by flooding and crashing corporate and government websites, or digging up and publicizing highly embarrassing information. It's called trolling. They troll targets out of genuine outrage, but also just for fun.
LULZ, it's a kind of pluralization and bastardization of laugh out loud.
New York University professor Gabriella Coleman has been watching Anonymous for years.
It's a term that kind of denotes the sort of pleasure, humor, laughter, everything from something which is quite playful, harmless, to engaging in a kind of full-fledged trolling attack that humiliates.
Anonymous's campaigns, known as operations or ops, can be dramatic. In late 2010, a distributed denial-of-service attack took down the website of PayPal after the company cut off support for the online whistleblower site WikiLeaks.
PayPal continues to withhold funds from WikiLeaks, the beacon of truth in these dark times.
16 Anons were arrested by the FBI, charged with conspiring to intentionally damage PayPal's computers.
This is a message from Anonymous to the Bay Area Rapid Transit System BART.
This summer, Anonymous attacked the San Francisco area's public transportation system, BART. BART had cut cell service within the transit system as a way of disrupting anti-police brutality protests. Anonymous's reaction was devastating and vicious.
We will not issue any more warnings.
Op BART included the release of a naked photo of a senior BART employee.
Sometimes it kind of makes you laugh, sometimes it makes you cringe, sometimes it makes you laugh and cringe at the same time. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my gosh, there is this, dagger that's being thrown.
A naked photo.
Yeah, a naked photo.
Do you feel like there is a fear out there of what they could possibly find or leak about a certain individual?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes them who they are, is that they are kind of bad boys and rude boys to some degree. There is a dual sort of fascination and horror that goes on at the same time.
Be aware, be vigilant.
Anonymous was evolving, using its power to shock and disrupt to affect social change. During the Arab Spring, the collective emerged as a full-fledged activist group, taking up the cause of Tunisians fighting against a repressive regime, literally saving lives.
The Tunisian government has made itself an enemy of Anonymous.
They did everything from take down government websites. They wrote scripts to stop the phishing of passwords. They brought massive media attention to Tunisia.
And last fall, Anonymous broke cover here at home, stepping out from behind their secure computer screens for a new cause, Occupy Wall Street.
There is a revolution brewing.
Suddenly, the symbols of Anonymous were everywhere, in flags, masks, banners.
We are the 99%!
When we return, pepper spray and Anonymous strikes back.
How are they getting personal information of these officers?
I'd rather not say.
The shadowy internet group known as Anonymous has grown now far beyond its hacker roots. It's now emerging as a forceful public relations weapon for the Occupy protest movement. Amber Lyon takes you inside Anonymous.
We are Anonymous.
Anonymous likens itself to the Air Force of the Occupy movement.
Everyone, everywhere will be occupying their towns, their capitals, and other public spaces.
Anonymous has an array of people on the street. We're talking medics in San Francisco, tech support in Washington, D.C., and here in New York, guys like Troy. Troy, not his real name, is part of an army of citizen journalists documenting the movement and the police by broadcasting live video over streaming sites. When they see evidence of what they believe is police misbehavior, Anonymous strikes back, releasing personal information about specific officers.
Then hopefully he'll think twice before he pulls out his baton against somebody who's holding a sign saying, "We just want peace."
And how are they getting cell phone numbers and personal information of these officers or bankers?
I'd rather not say.
In September, an NYPD officer named Anthony Bologna was filmed pepper spraying 2 protesters. Anonymous took direct action.
We will unleash hell on your phones, the servers, and anything else we can find.
One of the most active subgroups within Anonymous is called the Cabin Crew. Their specialty is doxing. It's shorthand for combing the internet for all the information you can find about a target and then releasing it publicly.
Cabin crew have noticed the injustices being committed by the New York police.
cabin crew compiled Bologna's name, his home address, past legal actions, even the names of his family members, and put it all online. After a police investigation and public pressure, Bologna was placed on leave and reassigned to Staten Island.
What do you think that did to the NYPD when they saw this officer's information get posted online?
I think that they would see it as a form of vigilantism. They're pushing the boundaries of the law. But I think some of their actions also reveal the ways in which either private security companies or police are also acting outside of the boundaries of the law.
Anonymous's biggest coup in the propaganda wars was this. An Anon group by the name Operation Leaks posts the clip on YouTube. The next day, the clip tops 100,000 views. 3 days later, 1.5 million. The casually spraying cop had it all. It was outrageous, ridiculous, lousy, and effective.
Police in riot gear sprayed students,
pepper spraying student protesters.
The incident was picked up by the mainstream media and replayed over and over again.
Nice shopping.
Anonymous wants to frame the narrative of the Occupy movement as a contest between peaceful protesters and a militarized police state.
Oh my gosh.
Reality, though, isn't quite so clear-cut. At Occupy Oakland, some protesters attacked the police with rocks and bottles. Others erupted in a fury after the city tore down their encampment.
They're getting a little heated. Some people are trying to tear down this fence and head into the main area, but others are trying to keep them quiet and calm so that the police don't have to get re-involved.
I need some help. We need some more help. You're f***ing willing to fight us, but not the police? They tried to fight, and you're doing their job.
The anonymous PR machine focused solely on instances where the cops got out of line. And they had plenty of ammunition.
What happened? What happened? She got shot.
During one night of chaos, police apparently fired a projectile directly at a former Marine named Scott Olson, who was peacefully protesting against the crackdown. Anonymous went into overdrive.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.
Scanning the video for police badge numbers and names, offering a reward for anyone who could identify the officer responsible. The case is still under investigation. The Department of Homeland Security has put out several alerts to law enforcement and corporate security focused mainly on the group's hacking activities. And the FBI has made more than a dozen arrests.
We're living in a police state.
But there's no indication that has cramped Anonymous's style. Their latest op?
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all on planet Earth.
On Christmas Day, members crashed the website of a security research company, hacking its client list along with their credit card numbers in order to steal $1 million for donations to charity.
We are anonymous. Expect us.
And our correspondent Amber Lyon now joins us here in studio. A little frightening,
yeah,
a little scary.
Slightly, especially for law enforcement in many aspects.
I got to ask, so what if they get it wrong? What if they put up some personal information that is inaccurate? Do they have any accountability?
There's very little accountability. Because of the way Anonymous is organized, anyone can claim to be anonymous. There's also a lot of extreme outliers. And you know, law enforcement is intimidated by Anonymous. We tried to get an interview with anyone federally or locally, and they refused to send an officer forward kind of to the chopping block because they feared that if this officer appeared on camera, they could become a target of Anonymous. All right, Amber.
Amber, thanks so much. Great story.